How do we feel about?
Oh boy.
How do we feel about the football player last night who stepped up to the podium and then laughed at a female reporter when she talked about routes? Who wants to talk about Cam Newton?
Take it away, Cornelia.
So in case you missed it, we have video as well, but a quick explainer. Cam Newton, football player, Carolina Panthers quarterback, star quarterback, Super Bowl, did not win the year before last, but he was at the Super Bowl. He's known for his interviews when it comes to talking to the media.
He's
not a rookie.
30.
He's been in the league for quite some time. But he had some choice words and a choice reaction when a female journalist asked him a question in regards to his routes and his actual play. And I think we have that video. We can show that.
You take a lot of pride in seeing your receivers play well. Devin Funchess has seemed to really embrace the physicality of his routes and getting those extra yards. Does that give you a little bit of an enjoyment to see him kind of truck sticking people out there?
It's funny to hear a female talk about routes. Like, it's funny. But
Says it not even once but twice. I didn't catch that last part. It's funny when a female talks. It's funny. Like really thought it was funny.
And now, so with this, a lot of journalists, women in the business were chiming in on Twitter. Football, some of his teammates, some of his colleagues were chiming in. People on both sides. A lot of NFL players saying they understood. But Jordan Rodriguez, who was the woman who asked him the question, said, "I don't think it's funny to be a female and talk about routes. I think it's my job."
Oh, girl, it is your job.
And so there's been a lot of debates on Twitter, not just celebrities and people in the industry, but just the general pop having something to say about it. So people are split across the board.
Okay. Oh, look at this one. Lindsay Rhodes just finished today's NFL Total Access, which is the show for which the producer, senior coordinating producer, segment producer were women. Hashtag say it with me. Funny.
Okay, can I chime in real quick?
Yes.
So I started my career as a sports reporter.
Yes, you did.
Went to University of Oregon, majored in broadcast journalism, was embedded in the football scene and baseball, and loved it. That I wanted to become a sports reporter. So my first job in Reno, I was a year and a half sports anchor, number 2 anchor, and I had to go to every single Nevada football Monday practice. I would go to the university, I'd get on the turf. I was the shortest female there. I was what we call multimedia journalism, where you're holding your own camera, one-man banding.
MMJing.
My neck after, because I'm so short, I would be like this, trying to get Colin Kaepernick at the time, actually, trying to get him and interviewing him. And I will tell you, even back then, which wasn't that long ago, 7 years ago or so, they had so much respect for women already at that point. I never felt, and I'm so proud to say that, I never felt like they judged me for being a woman or questioned me for being a woman. So now that we're here in 2017, Cam Newton, you've been asked by female reporters before questions. Why now? And
it's when she said the physicality and then followed it up with routes. And he just, you saw the genuine shock.
Yes.
I mean, he was being, shout out to him for being genuine, because we saw some truth in him, but it just shows that there are still a lot of men in the world who probably feel this way.
But then that's the crazy thing, because Cam Newton has been playing for a long time. College, high school, college, and now in the NFL. So he interacts with women journalists every day.
It's so wrong.
I can name so many female sports broadcasters right now that get so much respect on a daily basis.
So for me, I saw it as maybe he's not used to, because once you leave the game or the stadium or the practice field, whatever, you go home, and whoever you interact in your personal life, that's who you interact in your personal life. So maybe he's not used to interacting with smart people in his personal life. So when he's interacting with people who are equipped or armed to talk about things in that way, he's not used to it, because in his world, people are kind of,
if a Shelley, but if a Shelley Smith,
he shouldn't be surprised by this.
If a Shelley Smith would have asked, if a Shelley Smith would have asked, or maybe say Aaron Andrews, different levels of respect I feel from men. But if a Shelley Smith would have asked this, would he have laughed?
No.
I just feel was it because she looked to be a younger female, blonde?
I mean,
what do you think it was?
I don't know, but I have been doing a little research on what most, editorially at least, what most people think he should do now.
Well, no one's going to say.
But now it's like
he's right.
Of course not.
Well, some colleagues, some NFL players came out and they were saying, "I didn't see anything wrong with it. I see his perspective. So there are people on
But
his
why
side.
is it,
no
why is it funny?
editorial.
Why is it funny for a female to be talking about routes? I don't know
You
why
gotta
that's
ask
funny.
Cam.
If you want to be a sports reporter, you better know that you need to talk about routes.
Cam.
You better know what the linemen are doing to help the quarterback and all the other
Because
things
it
along
comes
the line.
down to society, gender norms is
Right,
what makes it
right.
funny to him.
Yes.
And he's probably, so going back to Cornelia's point, it has to be something at the root of your life. You're not born being gender specific in terms of the way that you see society and the norms, females in the kitchen, all of the what are old social norms now. I was at this State of Hispanics conference yesterday at Sac State, and they talked all about women on the rise, especially in the Latino community, and how at 31 years old, they kept referring to her as she's female. She's a lot of times getting her master's now. She's making 60 to 100K a year annually. And this is all by Nielsen. This was a Nielsen expert who tracks ratings in the country and saying that Latinos specifically are on the rise, like 50% of the growing population. And then you look at females specifically, and she is on the rise a ton more than a male. I know this girl, I don't believe was Latina, but my point in saying all of that is that females are going to continue that next generation. They called it we had a debate last week about that next generation, what they're called, because I am a proud millennial.
Megan loves her some millennials. Honey.
The Nielsen peeps call it the next gen.
Yes.
Oh,
The
okay.
Next gen.
So
That's
real
all it
quick,
was.
comments from football players, former and present. Retired receiver Roddy White per Twitter says,
Okay.
why are people making a fuss about Cam and the woman reporter? He laughed, then answered her question, but it was funny first time for me too. Jacksonville Jaguar defensive back Charles James tweeted, the world is really soft place. If people are mad at Cam Newton saying, it's funny to hear a woman talk about routes, are we that soft? If my girl said, yeah, I hit you with a comeback, but the receiver didn't get enough depth, I'm going to look at her and say the same thing he said.
Is it because females don't play football? Most times there are some who have broke the record now, but is it because that they feel as though you haven't played the game, therefore you don't have the right to talk? Because if it's baseball, I don't feel like they'd get the same laughs.
I mean, maybe that's their opinion, but as a woman who is in the field, you should expect her to have done her research.
To get to the
so
point
when
where
he's
you're
saying,
at an
when
NFL
he's,
press
when
conference
he's
with
saying
the
if my girlfriend
the
said it,
Carolina
well, sure, but
Panthers.
is your girlfriend a professional sports anchor, host, and reporter? I mean, I just feel like if you are expected to interview these athletes at this level, the expectation should be right back on the person doing the interview that you know what the heck you're talking about. So I don't know why they think it's a soft world that we laugh. I kind of look at it like, you know what? It shouldn't be surprising to you because that's their job. But what I was going to say earlier is editorially, everyone is saying, Cam Newton, don't even try to apologize at this point. He probably doesn't feel like he did anything wrong, but what's been done has been done. What's been said has been said, and if he tries to come out now and say, like, I didn't mean it that way or didn't think, I was reading a lot of different NFL Network posts and everything of people saying, you know what? The conversation has happened, so now it's like, where do we go from here with Cam? But don't expect on Sunday Night Football he's going to come out and be like, sorry for what I said.
Oh, no, I absolutely think he needs to not just slide under the mat on this one and, oh, shoot, what I said, or he doesn't care. No, I want to see you back at that podium, calling her by her name.
But will you
and
believe him?
But he needs to understand that it's that big of an issue that you need to apologize. If
But
someone
this
does
is-
something bad, that's how I feel. I would
Cam
want
has
you to
missed-
look me in the eye.
Cam has spoken and has made questionable statements about pretty much everything in regards to when a football player started kneeling, police brutality, in regards to black people in the state of America. He has been known to misstep, and he has been known to, even when he comes out
So you
and
just
tries
let
to
him keep getting
apologize.
away with it?
Some people don't have the capacity to be the man that you want them to
Well,
be.
I want him to be the man that
Some
we
people
want
don't
to
have
be,
that capacity.
so you can step up to the
But
plate
if he
and
says
say
he's
that.
sorry, what will that do if he's not genuine?
if he don't believe it.
Don't you think in life, like if something's wrong, the person needs to be held accountable and they should say they're sorry?
Oh, I think he needs to be held accountable, but I don't think he's sorry.
Okay,
so if
so
he
how
says
else-
he's sorry, I'm not going to believe
Well,
it.
then what do we want to hold him accountable? Like how would we want him to be held accountable?
And
He
is
needs
it
to go
Cam's-
sit in that editorial office where all those women journalists are
Okay.
putting together this show and sit there and
Okay.
let them help him learn how
That's
this
a form of
happens.
apology. So I need him to apologize in some way, shape,
Okay,
or form.
okay.
There you go.
Or,
I agree.
or
I
is
agree,
it
not
the
podium.
responsibility of a quarterback? Should this be a higher up conversation in the NFL in general in regards
Absolutely.
to women in journalism and the respect that's given? Because if other players are saying this same thing, like, I don't see what the big deal is, then it's not
It's
just
a
Cam.
rooted thing. Like to me, it's beyond just saying it or not saying it.
Yeah.
Right. If the concern here is that these men still feel this way at their core, that even in front of a group of people, I understand it's Cam Newton and this is the way he does it, but and he's controversial, but I don't think this was him trying to be controversial. This was his authentic feeling in that moment, which, hey, if society has taught him this, then I think as a society we need to try to help the next generation, because if he's saying this, the next generation is going to think that's okay if he's not held accountable.
Right. Because when I think about different sports, and maybe you're right, maybe it's the NFL, women don't play football, but when I think about like Doris Burke, every interview she did during the NBA playoffs sounded poised, educated. She was witty. She was smart. She was quick.
yeah.
And they respect Doris.
And they respect Doris.
Doris is like a
Yeah.
Maybe it was an
So what
age
was
thing?
it? Yeah. Maybe we'll come to the bottom of him saying maybe it was
And I
the
don't-
person, which still isn't.
Or maybe some guys just can't talk sports with women. If I'm having a conversation
Right.
and debate about
Maybe.
sports, y'all know I'll argue about basketball back and forth.
And you
some men
sound
get
hot.
shocked when I talk
Like
about
my
it.
husband Caesar.
Don't even bring it up
No.
either.
And
Don't
I will
bring it
say,
up.
I will say,
You know
Caesar
I'm
in the
thinking.
past, sometimes, because I can get passionate about sports,
Yeah.
and I oftentimes tell Caesar, like, dang, maybe I should have gone into sports broadcasting. And he goes, this is going to be bad. But he chuckles at me sometimes. And I go, why? Because he knows me specifically. And he's like, because, like, these guys like me are so, like, this is our, like, deep rooted passion. We played it, we know it, we live it, we breathe it. You're just, like, surface, like, you like the stories around it. He goes, I want someone who can, like, go in. I don't want someone who's going to be, like, sitting there and talking. So I haven't studied it, though. When I tell him,
Right.
I said, like anything else, if I would become a political broadcaster, I would study my politics.
Right.
I'm not born just I'm just politically savvy. No, you study it. You can study routes. And I tell him, if X person in high school was that good of a player, he was not that smart. If he was that good of a player, though, and he could learn his routes, I can learn his routes too. And I can learn him, and I can be able to talk about them. So we have this debate all the time. And I will say, when he saw that, he knew how that would make me feel. So he showed me last night, and I was like, what? And he felt the same way. He's like, yeah, no, dumb remark. That's stupid. This girl studied
There's a way
it.
you need
She's
to
an-
handle yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and I will be proud to say this because I don't think my husband would mind it. I know a lot about MLB, and he doesn't know that much about baseball. So when we watch games together, he'll be like, "Wait, why didn't he steal, or why didn't he go for it?" And we have these conversations,
Yeah.
and it empowers you to know that you have someone in your life who's a male who will let you go there and take the reins. And you know, I think that if you are very passionate about something, male or female, you should, at this day and age in 2017. We should all respect the fact that, like, when you say something out loud like that, you're gonna get bit back on.
And you should be
It's a lot
held.
to chew.
You should be held accountable, and I think it would do him justice
Yeah.
to go and sit in on some of those meetings. And just like the girl who posted the comment we just read, Total Access, the show. He probably has no idea behind the scenes that these people who are putting the shows together are female, and the fact that
He
aren't
may
there
know, and
assistant
he may not
coaches?
care.
Oh, yeah.
Aren't there?
He may
There are
know, he
female
may not
kickers,
care.
too.
Sometimes people just don't care.
So you're saying that you just leave it untouched, let him feel the way he feels until
I think
he
we
dies.
just, my level of expectation for Cam, he's not going to be the man that I want him to be, so I don't
But
really,
he may be the man that the next generation of men are looking up to.
or maybe there's already one that exists, it's just not Cam.
Before we leave,
What do you mean?
Maybe there's already a role model for the next generation to look up to, but it's just not Cam. It ain't him.
But doesn't it concern you that Cam is someone who kids may look up to, and he feels this way? I'm just saying he needs to be held accountable. Do we agree on that? Or
yeah,
no? Or you
yeah.
don't care?
Hey, before we leave, go to my Facebook page. Look at this story of Shaista Ways. She was an Afghan refugee, youngest woman in the world to fly around the world. She's also the first in her family to go to college. She's from Richmond, which is the Bay Area. Check out her story.
Yes.
It's an incredible story.
30
And we're
years.
talking about women today, too.
Yeah.
So there we go. Yeah, 30 years old.
Just ending on that note. All right, everyone. Oh, we didn't even look at our last final comments, but we see you.
We'll comment. We'll type.
We'll type back.
We'll use our
8:45.
fingies.
Check out Dina at 9 on your TV screen. All right, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning, blend 5 to 7.